How many of y'all have ever had where you've worked with young people that are in detention or in somewhere and they've had bad things happen to them and they're always telling you, sir, you don't understand. I just can't be there with them. I can't be there with them. I see the heads nodding. You want to know why? Because there's something called bounty out there. And here's how bounty works. Bounty means that they know each other's marks. So if I have two survivors that are in a detention center and one of them starts talking to the police, the other survivor knows that she can tattle on that girl to her trafficker. So in that scenario, what would happen there is that, let's say I work for this young lady here. What's your name? Rebecca. I work for you, Rebecca. And I start talking to the police, right? Well, she sees me. She goes and tells the person that she works for that I'm talking to police. That person comes back to Rebecca and says, hey, your boy Chuck, you better get him in line. He's talking to Popo. You tell him that you got eyes everywhere, you see everything, you know everything. Now you owe that bad guy, Rebecca, you owe that bad guy something, drugs or money. It's called bounty. You get an attaboy for tattling, you come back to me and you scare me because you're going to come back and visit me as my auntie or something like that. You're going to say, I'm his aunt, I'm his cousin, I'm his caseworker. And when you get me in the room, you're going to be like, shut your mouth. I see everything, I know everything. And then I'm going to be freaked out, right? So this becomes a psychological chain that I carry around with me the entire time that mark is on my body. I don't belong to myself. I belong to the person who trafficked me. Rebecca's a good person. Trust me, she didn't do anything. For that, you get a ball, Rebecca. So when they say they can't be there, ask them, is it because of the tats? The biggest one you see nowadays is a black rose. Black rose, automatic trafficking tattoo. It means victim. Black rose with a heart means underage victim. So as you can imagine, these victims suffer from all types of medical disorders, psychological disorders, post-traumatic stress, injuries, bruising. They end up in the ER a lot. And oftentimes they're in there as cases of domestic violence, or they tripped, or they fell, or it's just a case of homelessness, or they're even treated as a drug addict. If the right questions are not being asked, or if they're in the room and they've got someone that's answering all the questions for them, you may very well have a situation of trafficking. Standard knowledge in medical situations is you separate out your patient from everybody else and you start talking to them and ask for that psyche valve. Ask the right questions, because you may ask the question of the simple one, which when I do presentations with a trafficking friend of mine who's a survivor, she keeps saying the same thing over again. If anyone had asked me if I was okay, I would have told them no. She went to the ER over 30 times, and no one ever asked her if she was okay. They wanted to know how she was injured, but they never asked her if she was okay. Go ahead.
Do these traffickers ever pose as guardians of?
Yeah, all the time. I've actually been in the hospital interviewing a victim who was found sexually assaulted. And a guy shows up and they said, hey, her dad's here. And I knew who her dad was by this point. I looked at it and said, that ain't her dad. And I got University Police Department up there and they put the Gravis on him. That was her trafficker. He cried later on in the box, don't worry about it. They always cry in the box. Oh, and they want to call their mom.
What's crying out their mom is probably another trafficker.
Could be, but it's so funny because they've got great big signs up there at SAPD say everything's being recorded, right? And they always take their cell phone from them, and then they have a phone sitting right there at the desk. They ask them, do you want anything? You want some water? Want something to eat or something like that? They walk out of the room and they leave the phone sitting on the desk, and there's a sign right behind it that says everything's recorded. And these dinglings get on that phone 9 times out of 10, and they start talking on the phone. And I kid you not, I've actually been in the observation room with popcorn laughing. Don't tell them about that video, the one we hid underneath the house. Yeah, that's where we put the... I'm not kidding.
That happened with an attorney.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You know. Total confession, because they get on the phone, and the sign's right there. It's like me standing in front of this. You see all this, and I'm going, I don't know nothing about trafficking. Get a ball. All right, so they can end up with a lot of, so we got to ask the right questions. Why don't they leave? They're trauma bonded because by this point they believe that no one else wants them. That the only person who loves them or cares about them is the trafficker. They're trauma bonded. We used to call it Stockholm Syndrome, but it's a system of rewards and punishments. They've been abused and they were given a reward. Back and forth between daddy and gorilla, back and forth. They believe no one else cares about them. Or they're even told things like, you can go back and tell your mom and your dad and your grandpa and your aunt and your uncle and all your cousins what happened to you. You can tell the police. But guess what? They're all going to treat you as garbage because you're a criminal and you committed criminal acts. And to survive, they have. They think not only am I a prostitute, but I shoplifted, I stole, I did drugs, I sold drugs because I was trying to survive. So they have guilt and shame. And they believe they have no way out. A system of intrigue, rapport, affection, and enslavement has been used on them. By the way, you too can learn this system for $49.99 per module online. The individual who sells this system, he calls it the Shogun Method, the Black Rose Sequence, or the system. His name is Derek Rake. There's also a website called Pimpin' 101. Don't go there. Don't go there with your work computers especially. If you do go there, make sure your firewalls are up and that you're using incognito search. But these individuals, unless you want to get a lot of ads for Russian brides. But this is up there. So Derek will teach you exactly how to do each one of these stages. And it's discover how to enslave a woman emotionally is how he advertises. And he specifically says on his website, do not use this for trafficking. My lawyers told me to tell you that, so now here's how you do it. That's his words. Starts out with a set of intrigue. He's using a set of intrigue pings. That could be anything anywhere from a flashy character online to the chain to the nice car to some type of intrigue to get someone to perk up their head and look. And then I want to build rapport with someone. The longer I have to do that, the better. I want to avoid contextual rapport, which is just the friend zone. I want to constantly push towards the romantic stage. So if I've got a young person that I'm grooming, young person that I'm working on with rapport, I want to talk to them, and I'm going to talk to them over and over again. You look really good in that. Thank you. Thank you for wearing that. You know I'm playing, right? Establishing rapport. I want to tell you all about, did I mess it up again? Okay. I want to tell you all about the fact that I start sharing things with you. Anything you talk about that you tell me you like. I like the color blue, I like sunshine, I like anything. I like those things too. I'm going to share positive experiences with you, and I'm going to share with you my negative experiences, which are similar to your negative experiences. I'm going to build rapport. But I'm going to not only top of building rapport, I'm going to keep complimenting you over and over again. That's why I did that. And I'm going to keep telling you, thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for this. I'm going to be the nicest guy you ever met. And I'm going to build that rapport. But eventually what's going to happen is I'm going to move it towards the attraction stage. Now when I'm in the attraction stage, this is what I'm going to keep giving those compliments, but it's going to be followed by a correction. This is where I'm beginning to do the fractionalization process of separating out who you are as an individual with who I want you to be. And it'll be a little something like this. Thank you for wearing that. It looks really great. You would know what would make that look better? If you wore that V-neck, it would look better. That scarf makes you look really good, but you know what would make that look better? A little bit of rouge right here. Right? Sir, I love that shirt. That's a great shirt. You need to unbutton that top button there. Get a little bit of air in there. There you go. Entice, repel. The more I do that, what I'm waiting for is I'm waiting for you to show up in our conversation wearing the rouge, wearing the V-neck, and with the top button open. Okay? I'm waiting for you to do that. Because as I'm doing you to do that, I'm going to get you to change how you walk, how you talk, who you hang out with, because remember, I'm driving that wedge between you and all your support structures. Your friends are not going to be more important than me. Your family's not going to be more important. Your teacher, your schoolwork, nothing's going to be more important with me. I'm going to keep you online for hours a day and the night. I'm going to keep you on that phone. I'm going to check in with you. I'm even going to make you get on Insta and constantly take pictures so that I can see what you're doing at any given time. Because eventually I'm going to get into the enslavement stage. When I've got you to the point where you're doing the things I want you to do, That's when it becomes the most dangerous section of the enslavement stage. And here's what I'm going to do at this point. I'm going to break up with you. Anyone tell me why I'm going to break up with you? Make you want to come back to me. You want another ball? Make you want to come back to me. Each time you chase me, I've drawn you deeper and deeper into the enslavement stage. Each time you chase me, I'm going to keep doing this over and over again. I want to be with you, but you know too much about me. You know how much of a bad person I am. You know how much I've been hurt, and I've never shared this with anyone. So please, I can't be near you because you can hurt me. You're the only person that could hurt me this much by breaking up with me. So I'm going to break up with you. No, I promise I'm going to protect you. I'm going to take care of you. I need you to help me, protect me, take care of me. And then it's going to come the test. After you chased me down a few times and gotten back together with me, I'm going to have a scenario in which I have a problem with someone that only you can help me with. And it's going to be life-threatening. Because I'm going to owe somebody money, and they're going to kill me, and you're going to know this person's a bad person, and only you can fix this scenario. And I need you to help me. I need you to go on a date with this person because they really want to go on a date with you. Show them a little kindness. Show them a little attention. What's going to happen to this date is this person's going to be sexually assaulted. And when they come back and talk about what happened, that's when the gorilla's going to come out and the bad guy's going to say, you knew what this was the day you came after me. You said you'd do anything for me. You knew what this was. You made this choice. You did this. Now get out there and make my money. One in 1% chance of recovery. Once they're in the game, 1% chance of recovery. 1 in 100. Within the first 48 hours of a young person running away, because that's what they're going to do is they're entice them to run away, first 48 hours is when they're going to be trafficked. So it's a real quick turnaround. These maps represent calls to the National Human Trafficking Resource Center in 2016. The one on the left is 2016. The one on the right is 2017. Has trafficking increased over that time period? Actually, it hasn't. What has increased is classes like this. What has increased is this here has always been the problem. San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth up here, Houston, Corpus Christi. This has always been the problem. But now, because people are coming to classes like this, because people are becoming more aware, because people are having opportunities, because we're being hosted by people like Clarity that are willing to bring you in and give you this awesome hummus back there, which I already ate some. All right, because they're willing to make a video, because they're willing to come out and do this trainings, because you take the opportunities out of your day to hear me talk. That's happening. People are it's getting reported. And folks are getting help. We also live in the I-10 Corridor, which is estimated from 25 to 50% of all domestic victims are moved east and west over the I-10 Corridor because it connects the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean. As well as we live on the intersection of I-35 and I-10. I-35, main corridor between Canada and Mexico. And the hub is just a few miles that way. That's why it's estimated that over 25% of all victims in the United States are moved through the city of San Antonio. Not trafficked here, but moved through here. Texas has the highest, second highest numbers in the country for reported trafficking cases, following only after the state of California. And the lead city in the country for reported trafficking cases right now is Houston. Switches back and forth between Houston and Atlanta right on the I-10 corridor.
Did you say for reported?
Reported cases.
Okay.
All we can do is count the reported cases because we can't count estimated. There's a lot of numbers out there that people throw around as far as estimations. I've heard 300,000, I've heard 79,000, I heard a lot of estimated numbers. I like to go with what we know. Those are calls to the National Human Trafficking Resource Center. Because if we go with what we know, then you can't refute those numbers. This is hard facts. These are faces and names and lives that have been impacted. The internet diminishes exposure. They took down Backpage. Texas worked with California and took down Backpage, which was the largest multi-billion-dollar year business of selling human beings online, which they masked as a classified section. They called it was like Craigslist, and Craigslist used to do this too. But they took down Backpage. They found out that Backpage, the overwhelming, over 95% of its income came from selling human beings online. And by the way, all the execs moved over to like Denmark not to get prosecuted and got tricked into coming back here to get arrested. The guys that were running this actually also ran the Village Voice because they claimed to be like, oh no, we're just telling the truth. And the reason why it's called Backpage, because back when the Village Voice used to publish the sex ads, they published them in the back page of the Village Voice. That's why it's called Backpage. They took down Backpage. It's done. But as of May of 2018, after Backpage got taken down, there was 88 still active sites out there selling sex, with several more coming online saying they were moving their operations overseas. They could still operate here in the United States, but as soon as they put those servers overseas, they were outside of the US law that prohibited this type of thing from happening. Because the internet stretches across international boundaries. They don't have to be in this country with their servers to run this. Now the customers, the traffickers are all here, but they're using the servers in another country just to get around. As you can see, these ads are very graphic. There's no doubt what's being sold on here. And these are things like Bedpage and Eki. This is Bedpage. Did you hear Bedpage? It's an exact replica of Backpage. When Backpage was taken down, 2 minutes later, Bedpage popped up. The only difference between Backpage and Bedpage are 3 letters. Literally. This is what Backpage used to look like, but now it's Bedpage, and it's operating right now. These symbols mean something, and if you look at that thing you're going to get, like the symbol here you see with the growing heart, whoops, see this growing heart up there? The heart, the pink heart that's growing, that automatically means juvenile. That's the symbol for juvenile. The camera means willing to engage in pornographic videos. Okay, each one of those symbols means something. This is the Yahoo, or this is the Yahoo of sex, erotic monkey. You can get reviews. The girls and boys are rated by phallic symbols, which are bananas. You can read reviews of other people who bought them for sex and what they did with them, and they can talk about what their prices are and everything else. This is all done here on Erotic Monkey. You can actually get in here, you put in a zip code, which I put in 78213, which is San Antonio. I said, give me 18 to 24-year-olds that are 5 feet to 5 feet tall, that are tiny and skinny. What am I describing? A child. 77 escorts found.